All right. You guys all enjoying the sun? I think most of us have been inside the whole day, so we actually don't mind. There's like a nice little breeze coming out. Hi guys, thanks for joining us. My name is Alex Lim. I'm currently head of business development at HAECHI Labs, also in charge of Face Wallet. But today I'm wearing the cap for as a country ambassador for Blockchain Game Alliance because we actually have our moon from HAECHI Labs, so I'll be fair and nice to all of you. Today, as it was mentioned, the topic of today's session is wallets need to be smarter. And I thought, is there any more obvious statement than that? I think that statement itself deserves a conference. But today's goal really is to dissect what we all mean by Web3 wallets and what we also mean by it needs to be smarter. Because I think the people that are joined here, they all take different parts of the Web3 wallets because there's so many ways to skin this cat. There's the custody, non-custody aspect. There are institutional players. There are consumer-facing players. So very happy to have these four people joining this panel. So why don't we all go around and do a super brief introduction of who you are and then what you guys do.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Alex. And thanks so much for having me here, guys. It's a wonderful couple of days in Korea. I'm Zhen. I'm one of the co-founders of Web3Off. We are a wallet-as-a-service solution that is powered by MPC and account abstraction. In particular, we've been around for a while now, so we power some of the top wallets in the space. You might have heard of some of them. This includes Trust Wallet. It includes Sequence on Polygon. It includes Kepler on Cosmos. We also power some of the top brands in Web2 moving to Web3, including Fox.com and all of their IP. Universal Studios, we just launched with McDonald's last week. A couple of others. So yeah, that's more or less what we do. And over to you.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Konstantin. I'm the CEO and founder of Blockdaemon. Blockdaemon is the largest infrastructure provider in crypto. We run over 150,000 nodes across 70 different protocols. We're traditionally an institutional really backbone. Our investors and customers are folks like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citibank, PayPal, Stripe, Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, you name it. We run institutional infrastructure for them. We also have an MPC wallet library and integrated wallet suite that we sell to companies like it. We have customers like Volkswagen and Rolex, as well as Citibank and others. We try to be very quiet about who we are. Blockdaemon, the word daemon implies operating system that runs silently in the background, and so we like to stay a little bit behind the scenes. And our view on wallets is, we think wallets are really the inbox of crypto, and we're sort of the ISPs here, but we've learned that if we don't provide safe and integrated wallet services, that the general consumer experience tends to suffer. And so we wanted to provide a vertical integrated stack to ensure that people have a safe and secure wallet experience. But we're totally B2B2C, so we have no consumer product. And but yeah, it's a super exciting space.
Great. Hi, my name is Moon, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of HAECHI Labs. HAECHI Labs provides wallet and security auditing business. So we provide two different wallets. First one is the local B2B institutional wallets based on multisig. So its name is Genesis. And we also have a joint venture with KB Bank. It's one of the largest banks in South Korea. And it's the first the possible licensed entity in South Korea. And the second one is Face Wallet. Maybe I will speak a lot of Face Wallet in this panel talk. Face Wallet is in-game wallet SDK. So we provide some to Web2-like experience for the Web3 first-time gamers and game companies. And we started our business as a security auditing business. So we provided the services to over 500 global clients over 5 years. And yeah, here we are. So thanks for having us.
Hi, everyone. My name is Clarisse. I'm the CEO of Dfns. Dfns is a cybersecurity company. We're a developer tool providing MPC wallet infrastructure. For our clients, our wallets are behind the interfaces of Warner Bros., Diageo, Richemont, Lacoste, and other luxury and consumer brands. We're based in Europe, but we serve our clients globally, mostly split between Middle East, US, Europe, and a bit in Asia, trying to increase our presence in Asia.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. And maybe to kick us off, as mentioned, I think when we all hear the word wallet in this space, I would assume that we all have different images and expectations of what wallets can do. In fact, Web3 wallets can be applied in such a variety of different applications. So maybe to kick off, we can go around and just, I'm curious for each of you, for the wallet service that you're representing, could you just specify your ideal customer target? What exactly is the problem that they're facing, and how is your solution helping them?
So I think when it comes to the problems that wallets are facing today, I think it's something that a lot of people have close to heart today. I think there's been a statistic that's been going around, which was quoted by Vitalik and issued by a study on Chainalysis that basically mentioned 20% of all Bitcoin in circulation has actually been lost due to lost public-private key pairs. Seed phrases being a very large contributor to that. And it's crazy. It's like $100 billion today, 20% of total supply. And it's when we're talking about wallets, I think there are two criteria that come to mind most often. It's the level of custodiality of your wallet. Everybody, ideally, if you asked anybody whether they wanted a custodial or non-custodial with ceteris paribus properties, everybody would say, oh yeah, I prefer it to be non-custodial. I prefer to hold it myself. If security, if everything was equal in particular. And then the second one is just the usability and the security and the practicality of the wallet itself, right? So I think a lot of us here providing wallets as a service are all kind of addressing this main overarching problem of how do we reduce loss, how do we improve usability, and therefore allow others to enjoy and reap the benefits of cryptography and all of its fantastic use cases on a much more massive scale, or with lower level, not just DeFi, right? Not high value use cases, but you're talking about day-to-day, you're talking about gaming, you're talking about all of that. So I think when it comes to particular demographic and use case for us in Web3 we're a wallet as a service, meaning I think separate from Face Wallet, but similar to Dfns as well as Blockdaemon, we all provide stuff on the infrastructure level. We're kind of a little bit more hidden. We don't like to show ourselves.
You're showing your face now, but
yeah, I mean, it's we have to do a bit of marketing, right? You have to allow me this much. But generally, we try to work with organizations which are trying to get a very interesting go-to-market strategy, whatever that might be, right? And we find that organizations that care about the user experience and care about owning that whole experience are often those who are that demographic.
Yeah, kind of what Zhen said. I mean, so that's all true, and that's I think one thing to maybe add is just the reminder, and you touched on it, is there's so many exploits and loss of keys and issues around wallet architecture that really defeats the premise of what crypto is about, right? And so we can, trustless networks obviously can only really function if you can trust the underlying infrastructure and software to protect and secure your assets. And so for us, the basic premise of crypto is really more inclusion for everyone. And so we really try to abstract technology away from that starting point. Like, what do we need to offer so more people can have safe and secure access to utilize crypto in a self-custodial manner where they don't have to do or understand anything. And so I always say that the last 5 years for us as a company, we were the largest importer of compute into crypto via node infrastructure, working with cloud providers and so forth. And that was needed because the available compute was often very unprofessionally run, we found. And I think the next 5 years, and I've always give the same example, and I'm aging myself here, but anyone who remembers the old music days when you used Pirate Bay to torrent music, like that's sort of the state of crypto we're still at. stuff gets lost. It's really difficult to ensure and protect people. And so we feel the next 5 years are about the Spotification, right? The integrated platforms where people can collect their own tokens and not have to worry about exploitation. And I'm always amazed when you build products and infrastructure in crypto, how poor often the actual rigor of QA and testing and underlying software actually is. And so it's always amazing to me that basic principles of standard security practices and best practices in developing software are not often applied in crypto, right? There is a sort of inherent hacky nature that we all love about crypto, but it really fell short on the wallet architecture side. That was a very clear problem for us. And so our preferred customers we have really two distinct wallets. One is pure self-custodial. You download it on your server. You can put assets in it, and it comes pre-integrated with our infrastructure, so you can use it right away. The use case there is really large-scale institutions who have a lot of assets and don't want to hand those out. And then we have a B2B2C wallet that is looks a lot like a multi-sig wallet, but uses MPC encryption and allows you to put MPC protected charts on devices and servers, so you can retrieve and lose a phone, for example, that you use as a wallet, and we can retrieve or whoever your provider is can theoretically retrieve assets and put them back in a wallet for you. And so we try to be holistic there. The guy who builds our architecture is the guy who built Apple Pay. He's the CTO. We recruited him early last year. And so we're kind of sort of looking at that as a standard. So a lot of the mobile encryption is really, really interesting to us. And so we're thinking about, like, how do we allow entities to put wallets that are similar to an Apple Pay experience on devices, right? Like, it needs to be as simple as that, but also as secure. And so companies who look like that are very interesting to us.
Yep, great. Face Wallet, which we provide, targets the content creator who targets the Web3 newcomers. So we believe in the next 5 years, many Web2 users will first experience Web3 through games. So we are primarily targeting the gaming companies. And early last year, most of the AAA gaming companies in South Korea approached us saying, hey, we saw the success achieved by Axie Infinity and WeMade, and we don't see those are games. So we want to showcase the very exciting games with the blockchain technology. But the most biggest concern is the wallets, because the 3 billion gamers who will enjoy their Web3 games wouldn't know what the MetaMask, the orange fox faces means. I hope MetaMask teams are not here. But yeah, it means forcing them out to leave, to exit the game, to install a wallet is something they strongly dislike. And the biggest part is the writing down the seed phrases. So that there is where Face Wallet came from. So we are solving the problems for the game companies and gamers. So at first we provide some in-game experience, so that users can create a wallet and play the game and not leaving the game. And second, users can create and sign up the wallets in 2 seconds with their social login. And third, users can send a transaction with the 6-digit PIN codes like the Web2 experience, like Line Pay or Naver Pay. Or fourth, it's fully non-custodial. We support private key exports, and users who can access their user social account can access their assets. And the last one, which is most favorite part of our partners, is we provide our SDK for free to our gaming partners. Because most of the wallets outside charge to their wallets, like based on the number of users or number of the wallets created. But we don't want to make the deal with them. We want to make a win-win relationship with them. Because a user signs up the game, we also acquire the user. So we want to make some skin in the game relationship. So I think the reason why AAA Korean gaming companies like Nexon, Kakao Games, and Japanese AAA game companies like Square Enix have chosen us within less than a year since our launch is maybe our differentiated value proposition lies in our approach, like not saying, hey, here's the complete product and documentation, use it and pay for it, rather than working together with our partners to make some best user experience, UX and UI, and ensure that their success is our success. Yep, thank you.
And on our side, we're a cybersecurity company, so security is a huge emphasis on which we're putting a lot of efforts. We are the forefront of MPC research. We believe there's a lot of performance still to be brought to the stack. It needs to be faster, better, cheaper, and so we're working every day with our scientific team to improve the algorithm and make it more usable. Now, we do believe that there's no security without usability. You're actually putting your user at risk if security is difficult. So we also put together, we release on the product side new innovation on the B2B2C with Apple Pay-like experience where you scan your face and you have a wallet. And last, but I think it's super important, you cannot build good user experience if you don't have good developer experience. And we put a very strong emphasis on making our stack accessible to developers, making it easy to use, building the right SDKs, we're writing good documentation. And maybe also one last point, because we're selling into customers that have a lot to lose, whether it's in terms of assets, so they have a lot of volume of assets on our platform, or reputation. We also are very, I would say, focused on providing the right certification. So we're also a SOC 2 Type 2 audited by Deloitte. We have, every time we push a code audits, we go through a strong certification that we make available to our clients. So those are, I would say, the unique focus. And so if you look at our customer base today, 50% of it is regulated. On the rest, we target a lot of B2B2C use cases, which are mostly focused on fintechs, so anything retail, but also retail on the large consumer brands, loyalty program, Web2 programs.
Cool. Thanks, guys, for all of your input. I think with the time that we have left, perhaps, I mean, I have so many questions that I'd like to ask each one of you. But I think for the audience, so that we all have some things to take away with this session, what I want to focus for the remaining time is perhaps the as-is and to-be with your already smart wallet that I hope can be smarter and will be smarter in the next 5 and 10 years. So if I may just open this to all of you, I'm really curious about, I think one thing that unites all of us is that in one way or another, we're all pushing forward the Web3 main adoption, right? For the mainstream, whether it's institutional or consumer facing. So I'm curious, with each of your solution, what are some of the biggest challenges that you face? And given that those challenges are resolved with your product, what is the ideal picture and the vision that you guys paint, either internally in your organization or externally that you talk about your partners? If I could provide some guidance, I mean, Zhen, you guys are really have been at the forefront of the concept of decentralized authentication. I'm curious what kind of challenges that were there in terms of kind of pushing that forward for organizations and consumers. Konstantin, I think when you talk about wallets like MetaMask, which is very self-explanatory in terms of users using their individual wallets, a lot of the things are not known in terms of what goes behind the scenes for the institutional usage of different wallets. For Face Wallet especially, Moon, you talked a lot about the gaming vertical. What are some of the specific challenges and problems that game companies go through, and what do they want really? Last but not least, Clarisse, I think Dfns is really well known for this concept of modularized wallets. You could maybe share more about that. How modularized or customizable do your customers or partners want, and what are some of those features? So maybe some challenges and the ideal picture / vision would be nice to kind of wrap up this session.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks so much, Alex, and for going through all of that. I think when it comes to decentralized auth, the way we really try to think about it is how best to manage, what's the best theoretical limit of managing a user's public-private key pair in a non-custodial way. And when we think about and ask ourselves that question, the natural answer that we came to isn't it isn't so different from kind of the way we think and the way we represent ourselves digitally today. It's through passwords, for example, things that we know, right? Things that we only us know and understand. It's true things like biometrics, only things that we, us have. It's also through the devices that we own, right? These different, your phone, your laptop, your browser, whatever that might be. So I think when it comes to decentralizing auth, our end goal is really to ensure that a user's key can be distributed across all of these different setups, including like their devices, their social logins, their biometrics, whatever it might be, and replicate that in an intuitive manner that it is for a user to set it up, such that we can replicate how people already are putting themselves online digitally, but just in the Web3 space, right? And I think that's how we think about decentralized auth. It's really, and it's how it translates down into our product as a whole, because we have a large focus on different SDKs for different devices, different SDKs for different frameworks for different devices. Like on mobile, we support all literally Flutter, React Native, as well as the native SDKs. We support any OAuth level when it comes to any social logins. We support biometrics as well, passkeys, more recent standard that's cropping up, YubiKeys, so hardware things that you could take for yourselves, authenticate applications. Really, the list goes on, and it's all about just mixing and matching that for the best representation of an individual, but in a non-custodial context.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to try and be swift. I think for us, again, we're trying to deliver the promise of crypto, and I think one of the things with wallets that's also really important to consider is that over time we want every transaction and everything to occur on-chain, right? And so there's the wallet frameworks for security, and I think then there's the integrations that also allow for perfect visibility for every owner of any wallet about any transactions that occur also behind the scenes. And so one of the interesting complexities we've seen last year, FTX is a good example, is that a lot of the enablers of volume and flow ultimately use omnibus wallets and take assets, and we've done a very poor job of actually delivering the transparency that the source technology bring on an organizational layer. So it's really an authentication hierarchy that allows for wallets to ultimately be identifiable by their owner and having access to the tokens at any point in time. And so ultimately, we don't like fractional reserve banking and all that type of stuff. And so I think it all lives in a wallet architecture where every transaction over time is visible. And so, for example, we work a lot with Base, like Coinbase's project is really exciting to us. As Blockdaemon, we for a long time thought about building our own L2 to actually use in order to channel transactions through a wallet where everything gets recorded. And so we stopped that when we started to meet Coinbase and the Base team specifically early on. But I think you have to look at the wallet in the context they live in, right? And so that's what I hope happens, is that ultimately there's perfect transparency over time, and that's going to be really challenging to achieve. But right now we're building the easy integration wallet stack so institutions can start to do it, and then we try to force them onto chains that provide perfect visibility for cross-chain transactions. And so we're hoping to create the reality that we like to see in 5 years' time by the stack we're building today.
Cool. At first, I believe the unnecessary user experience caused by technology should all disappear and fade into background. Looking back into the early days of the internet, you just need to connect to a modem and configure the IP address and DNS settings to use to realize the value of the internet provides. But nowadays, users can feel the value of the internet with just a few clicks. So I believe the Web3, the blockchain technologies, the value that blockchain and Web3 technologies can bring to the humanity is providing people with true digital ownership and lowering some financial barriers and eliminating the barriers. But right now, there are so many unnecessary user experience for technology limited to realize the value. So I think to answer your question, the biggest challenge the game company is facing is, I think, there is no successful Web3 game in the market yet. And I think the Web3 gaming market is at an infant stage, and the Web3 gaming market is taking shape. And at that point, what I can do and what wallet companies can do is to eliminate the unnecessary user experience. Like, users need to memorize it's hard to memorize the wallet address, and users need to recharge the gas fees every time. And it's very challenging to verify if the recipient's address is correct or not, or etc. So that is what wallets and we need to focus on, in my opinion. And the future vision you asked, I often visualize the vision of wallets like in the next decade by referencing the movie, Ready Player One. In that movie, users enjoy the game in a virtual world, and they receive these are assets and these are money as rewards, which they can use to buy some real world assets, real world purchase. So I think the wallet is kind of a digital finance infrastructure that facilitates kind of experience I mentioned, and enables people that can bring some full digital ownership and enable seamless interaction between virtual world and the real world. Yeah, this is my answer.
I believe that the smart wallet is the one that actually adapts to the user and our clients' constraints. And so because we're targeting different use cases, we've seen that constraints are very different, whether you're a tokenization platform, you're an exchange, you're doing cross-border payments, et cetera, et cetera. And so those clients have very different constraints in terms of onboarding time, in terms of security, in terms of compliance, in terms of regulatory constraints. And so we wanted to give them options on, for instance, authentication. Can you use biometrics, UV keys, default to PIN code, or just, email address and password because you don't want to change anything to the user experience you already have. Also, we wanted to give options in terms of what you can do with where you can actually store the shares. So we have a decentralized key management network where we can have shares stored in different environments. And for instance, when you look at institutions in Switzerland, they need to actually show the regulators that all the key shares are located in Switzerland. And so in order to show the flexibility of our network, for instance, we've made the first Bitcoin transaction from space by putting key shares on satellites and showing that our network could be very flexible. Also, we think that the options need to obviously be given in terms of multi-assets and interoperability, so providing our clients with 27 blockchain integrations. And last, also in terms of custodianship, right? Do you want to have self-custodial deployments? Do you want to operate based on omnibus accounts because you have a custodial deployment scheme? So all that is very modular, as you were saying, in our infrastructure. But I believe that when we look at the challenges we're facing, and mostly through the eyes of our clients when they benchmark us against other players, is the lack of standardization. The lack of standardization comes mostly from the fact that still use cases are very nascent, and so we lack patterns to actually know user behaviors, and so we lack standards around what features should have a wallet, This is one basic, standard that we'll add. We'll add standards around things like, should you provide key export or not to your clients? You were mentioning you providing key export. This is to me something that is very essential. I don't understand how you can be a service provider today doing self-custodial schemes and not give back the private key if your user wants it. I also believe that it's not GDPR compliant, and once this subject will come, it will be something that becomes a standard. Standards around as well the technology we're using. So today we're leveraging MPC. MPC is not standardized. NIST is starting work on threshold signatures. So there's, there will be some standards coming up in 3 to 4 years, but it's not enough. And so I'm board member of the MPC Alliance, and we've started working on reference documents so regulators can have guidance into what is a good or not good MPC implementation. So lack of standardization at large is definitely a big challenge today, once again, for our clients to know what is the right solution for them. And now in terms of vision, maybe 2 seconds on that, I believe that, to me, the ultimate, obviously, we've all said that, right? The smart wallet is the one that can obviously enable you to trade assets and interact in a frictionless way with, a UI. But in my opinion, it's to go a bit further. The smartest wallet, or the wallet of tomorrow, is the one that have a one-to-one correlation with your identity, where your wallet is your identity. And we're pretty much imagine this world where you can exchange any assets you want. You know for sure that you're never going to lose them because they're attached to with your identity, and only you can recover them. So to me, that's making sure that wallet is no longer paired to a password, a backup phrase, something that is saved in the cloud, but is actually who you are, is the future of wallets.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for sharing your insight and perspectives. I promise you there was no dress code, but these guys all made it so obvious where they work at. So if you're interested in any of the wallet solutions that they're working on, please find them and grab them before we all leave. I hope you found this interesting and useful for you, and have a nice rest of the day. Thank you.